Why did my computer just freeze? Of course it did.
Monday.
It is Monday. I don't know if we're live or not.
I don't know.
Oh, we are live.
We're live. Yay.
We are live.
Fantastic. Well, we'll give everybody just a second or two to get tuned in, because you know that is one of those things, Mondays, just always unpredictable. Let's predict some fun for today, though, and some lighthearted stuff. And so I think we're ready to say welcome to everybody. So hello, thank you for being here. Are you having that, head pain or neck pain or shoulder pain, or just the pain of it's Monday and you have to go back to work or back to school? If so, you came to the right place. I'm Holly Pitas, here with my wonderful friend Amber Salembier, and we are both emotion code practitioners, and we're here to help delete some pain today. So, episode 18, and now Amber is going to tell us a little bit about everything that's new and wonderful this Monday.
Absolutely. Welcome to our edition on pain. November is the month for pain. For anyone who is experiencing pain, we would definitely like to help you and see if the emotion code can help release some of that, at least release the emotions and help reduce that pain that you are suffering through. So you're wondering, what is this craziness? Well, stay tuned, because we get all crazy up in here. I definitely do. If you're watching us, please, let us know who you are, where you're coming from. We have visitors that come from all around the world, whether it's here in Canada, where I am. I'm from Ontario, Canada. Holly is over in Wisconsin, so the US. We have people come from the UK, from Ireland, from Scotland, India, Australia, all around the world. I'm trying to think of other places, but I really should have a globe on my desk to name all the places, especially all the places that I've worked in. When you can work on people internationally over a Zoom call, or even a lot of the times I just do it through Messenger. Hey, Amber, my back is really hurting. I need an emergency session. Great. I go in and I help reduce that pain and help them be able to get through the rest of their day. So, welcome. The emotion code was created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And he is a retired holistic chiropractor who saw patients come in day after day with the same similar injuries, and they weren't getting better. And it was downloaded to him that maybe the emotions are at the root of them. So he developed a way through learning so many different modalities and kind of combining them together as to how he can help his clients and his patients. And he came up with not only the body or the emotion code, but also the body code. So I'm both certified in emotion code and body code, and Holly is certified in emotion code. And we help people to release their emotions, get to the root cause so that they can feel lighter, feel more free, and get on with their lives.
Yes, and so with Dr. Bradley's system, what we do is we can connect energetically with you. And I know even for somebody that is maybe a very concrete, logical thinker, talking about the energy body sometimes is a little bit woo-woo. I heard a funny expression where they said, don't poo-poo the woo-woo. So even when you are very logical, you can still have this feeling, you walk into a room and you're like, wow, the tension was so thick I could cut it with a knife. Or you say, no, I don't want to go to so-and-so's house for dinner because I always, I just have a stomach ache thinking about it. So some of those things are keying you into the fact that maybe you have some sort of trapped emotion, something that's just unprocessed from the past. And you can continue to adopt these emotions. It just sort of like piles on and piles on and piles on until you have this kind of stuck mountain somewhere in your energy body. So with Dr. Nelson's system, he has identified 60 common emotions that can get trapped. I have the chart right behind me, and this is something that Amber and I work with, that we ask questions to try to zero in on which of these emotions it is that is causing you the discomfort. And that discomfort, for the purpose of our live show today, for volunteers for today, we are working on pain, but that's not the only thing that can happen. Sometimes you get sleepless nights, sometimes you get just procrastination or some kind of difficulty. And so by working with the system, identifying the specific emotion, we can just release the emotions, just sort of negate it, and free you to go on and live a little bit healthier and happier. So this does work on things that are emotion based. And so if you're actively bleeding or you have a broken bone, you do need to see a conventional doctor for that. But even so, even if it is something like that, there's still going to be emotions that can be attached to that event that happened. So it might be fear or frustration, or maybe you think, what a stupid thing I did. And so you're going to beat yourself up emotionally and just with negative self-talk. And so the emotion code can work on helping you to free from those things. So if you are visiting with us today, we'd love to have you volunteer. All you need to do is a couple easy things. So what you're going to do, 3 things, very simply. You can just type yes into the comments, which we will acknowledge as you're giving us permission to work on you. We'd like to have you identify the problem specifically. So it's not just pain. It's not necessarily even just a headache. You would say, it's a sharp pain in the front of my head or a dull ache over my ears. Identify it as specifically as you can. Amber is doing her best Vanna White with telling us where it could be. I love that. And then what you're doing is you're giving us permission to work with you over a distance. For some people who think that's a little bit new, it's the same as connecting like we are right now over the internet. And so we're tuned into the same channel. We've got the same connection. And that is what allows Amber and I to connect with you. We're not invading, so nothing too personal, so don't worry about that. It's a very kind of safe and anonymous way of releasing these trapped emotions.
Absolutely. So we do that by first, let's put in the comments if you'd like us to work on your pain. Where in the body is it? Yes, you give us permission, and we would like a severity. So maybe you're at a 10 and it's like, oh, that elbow is really painful. You would put, yes, I would like my elbow worked on, and it is a severity of an 8. Because what we do is we ask for it at the beginning, and then we check for it at the end, so that you can see, this is our proof to you that it works, that you can see yourself, that you've gone from this pain down to this pain. And if you go back into any one of our past 17 lives, you can see how people are going from an 8 to a 1 or a 4 to a 3. Most of the time, like 95% of the time, the people who are volunteering for this do see a reduction in pain. Even if it's just a slight, they do see it going from an 8 to maybe a 7 or an 8 to a 1. Every person is different. Every person has been through their own trauma, their own past negative life experience, their own emotions. So if you can imagine hundreds of these balls of energy, being released from the organs and floating through your meridians and your energy fields. And it's got 3 options. It can either be released fully, and we feel into that anger, we feel into that insecurity, we feel into that frustration, and we release it. Or it'll stay, anger is produced by the liver. It'll stay with the liver. And then you have all of these little balls of energy surrounding the liver, and may cause the liver to have issues. Or it can start traveling and it gets stuck in your shoulder, it gets stuck in your elbow. It really is between you and your energy field as to what happens. Each person is different. I've worked on people that have the exact same knee pain, for example. One has taken one emotion and she was able to not have any pain at all. Another person has taken 5 or 6 sessions and their pain was finally reduced so that much, so that she's, you know, running now and living a life that she always dreamed of having that she could never do from the beginning. So I'm going to take a moment and say hi to people.
Yes, actually,
Kinga,
while you're going to do that, Amber, I have to thank you because that was a beautiful, beautiful explanation. Although I do want to make one clarification because of our audience who have some very expansive views of the world. And so you had talked about our previous 17 lives. So I want to clarify that's a Facebook live. We're not talking about our own personal experience with a past life. So I just want to make that one little clarification.
fair enough. See, I just get speaking and I have no idea the stuff that comes out of my mouth. It's magical. So Kinga is saying, I love crazy. Lauren is saying, hey, y'all. Dawn is saying, hey, ladies. Louise, hey, ladies. Louise here from Scotland. Welcome, welcome. So Kinga is feeling a stiff neck and shoulder. The severity right now is about a 3, but it can go up to a 7 or 8. Kinga, if you can let us know what side it is on, that way we can really go into that space. Louise is saying, yes, migraines, tension headaches, going up to a 9, coming from the base of the skull, middle, and left, right of base of skull and back of the head.
Yes, and then on my end, I want to say hello to Erica. She's visiting us again. And so hello, Erica. If there's anything that we can do for you today, that would be fantastic. And so always fun. Otherwise, we never know who's going to pop in and how many people are going to be able to visit us actually live with us. So Amber, did you want to go ahead and work on Kinga?
Absolutely. Kinga's saying, can it only be one pain? Because for me, I have multiples. For our Facebook Lives, we do ask so that everybody gets a turn that for that episode that we just pick one spot so that we can preview what we do. We can show you how it works. You can certainly book an initial consultation with myself or book a session with Holly to go deeper into what it is that is going on with your life that is keeping you stuck, that is keeping you in pain. And then we go further. I've got clients who right now I've got ones who are working on infertility. I've got ones who are working on sinus pain, who are working on lower back pain. It really all depends on what it is in your life, because if you think about it, emotions can affect everything, everything. So I know on my page, there's a menu there that can give you sort of a snapshot of some of the things that we can work on, but it's really limitless. And Holly's got hers. So it's really endless, whether it's, you know, I've got programs that put people through abundance of money. And so we look at the limiting beliefs and the anxiety and all of that. Holly is doing a weight loss program, again, looking at, you know, this is where you are at, this is where you want to be, and how do we get you there by releasing all of the blockages, all of the limiting beliefs, all of the things that your subconscious is like, you want to be, you know, 120 pounds, there's absolutely no way. We're going to block you from reaching that. And so we release that, all of those blockages, so that you can be, you know, whether it's, I don't want to eat the vegetables that I know I should eat. Let's clear so that, you know, let's clear that resistance, because that's emotional based. Let's clear your attachment to cookies, because again, that's emotional based, right? So it's all really anything and everything. Hi, Anne. So I'm going to connect to Kinga.
Okay,
so how?
If while you start working on Kinga, Erica has also volunteered and she gave us a really good explanation. So Erica's saying, yes, a snap in my neck on the right side at the back of my neck. It then causes neck and she's got trap shoulder stiffness. So I'm thinking that's the trapezoids and tightness. Presently it's a 4, but goes up when I'm feeling stressed. There's a key for you. I've been having work done on it. And it's getting better, but it still happens on occasion. And then it causes some digestive problems. I'm 100% sure it's trapped emotions, buried trapped emotions. Thank you. So Erica, yes, I'm going to be happy to connect with you here in a moment. And so I think there's a couple of key things that Erica has said here is that she can identify it, and she realizes that when she's getting stressed or feeling pressured, that pain probably increases or comes back, so it can kind of come and go. And that is one of those things that it really clues us into knowing that it's probably from trapped emotions, because it kind of comes and goes, and it increases when you're feeling stressed. And so sometimes those emotions, when there's a weakness in your body, there's something called muscle memory. You would know it if you've ever ridden a bike, and maybe you don't ride a bike for 20 years. You get on a bike and boy, you just have an automatic recollection of exactly how to ride the bike and balance. And so it's the same thing with your trapped emotions. When they know there's a weak spot in your system somewhere, it's like, as Amber was saying earlier, that if the emotion is not actually released, it says, okay, so where am I going to go? And when there is sort of this weak spot in you, it's like, okay, that's right. The last time I was mad or angry or feeling anxious or frustrated or overwhelmed, I put my pain in such and such a spot. So here's a new situation. I'm feeling stressed or angry again. I'm going to go right back to that spot. And so it just sort of builds and builds and builds. And I think if you think back to, or maybe even to some older relatives who you can see their pattern, that maybe they had migraines or headaches or backaches, or they'll say, oh, that old knee is acting up again. It's like, well, yeah, it's not really the rainy weather. It is the situation that it causes or triggers a memory or something. And then that too can bring up that difficulty. So, all right, I'm going to take a little sip of water, and then I am going to connect with Erica and see if I can help to release some of these issues for her. Okay, I'm going to get quiet. I'm going to look away so that I can really concentrate. So.
Okay, I'm all done with Kinga. Kinga, if you could get up and start moving around. So what I've done is energetically realigned your body and kind of put it into a nice straight position, because I can think of words today. If you could get up and just walk around, let that energy release. So once I realigned your body energetically, I went into the spot and released whatever emotions I could. So what we do is we go through a process. First, we connect through muscle testing, applied kinesiology, and we make sure that we are connected to the person. Then I go in and I, make sure everything's aligned. Let's start off and, make sure that the area that we're working on is aligned. And then we go deeper. So is there any trapped emotions? Those are the emotions that you've suppressed yourself or that you've felt. Then there's hidden emotions. To me, hidden emotions are the emotions that our subconscious doesn't want us to know about. They're the ones that are maybe the most strongest. Then we go into absorbed. So like Holly was saying earlier, you ever walked into a room and you can feel the energy just kind of bring you down? You've probably absorbed other people's emotions. So, you're feeling all happy and light, and then you walk into a room and then you can feel your energy just being drained. That's other people's emotions getting into your energy field. And we can do all sorts of things. We can either take them on and become that energy. I know of people who have taken on, say, emotions of anxiety, and then they start becoming anxious, even though they weren't anxious before. I know that when I can feel my energy. So when it's, if I'm up and, feeling good like this is my day to day. When I start feeling really down and nothing else has happened, I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't shield myself today. Maybe I didn't protect myself. And maybe from working on clients all day, I've absorbed their emotions. It is the one thing that I have to make sure that I do every day is to make sure that I am shielded, I am protected, so that as I am working on different people all day long, I'm not taking on that energy, because otherwise it completely wipes me out. Then we have one of my favorites, which is inherited. Inherited emotions are your emotions that, are emotions that have come down the line. So whether your mother, your father, and different generations going back. This is where we're doing ancestral healing because it goes into the DNA. So let's say a great-great-grandfather, went through some sort of period. He got angry enough that it had a vibration and went into the DNA. It affected it so much. Just before conception of your family line. So you were conceived, he had that emotion, it went into the sperm and went down that family line. And now everyone who has carried that strand of DNA is now all affected. Not all the way back to that great-great-grandfather, but all the way forward too. So you, your kids, and so on and so forth. So this is one of my favorite because you're clearing out the DNA, you're clearing out your ancestrals. And a lot of the time, I know from working with my clients, they can feel that their family within. They're standing in the same room with you when we pull that emotion up. So imagine your family sitting in that room with you. Vibrational resonance is an emotion that is vibrating all the time. It's just a constant ringing. So you can imagine a bell going off and just that vibration of it that's constantly going off afterwards. That's an emotion that is vibrating all the time within your system. So you might see people who are constantly angry. They probably have an anger vibration all the time. Then there's psychic trauma. So two emotions trapped at the same time, creating a new frequency. And then there's prenatal. So when you were in your mother's womb, you absorbed an emotion while you were in there from someone else. So Kinga, I'd love to know how you are feeling after you've moved around. Let us know. You started at about a 3, so I'm interested to see how you are doing now. And I am going to work on Louise. Hi, Tracy. Great to see you. And if anyone else would like us to work on you, let us know. So I'm going to go get some water because water is important. It helps liquefy us and release those emotions.
Hey, yes, with the water, our bodies are like 90% water. And so we really need to have we need to be properly hydrated so that our bodies are flowing well, our own personal energy systems are flowing well. And so I'm just taking a deep breath here. So Erica, let me know how you're doing. If you can move around a little bit and, just see how that neck is feeling for you. And so I did release a lot of emotions for you. They were mostly in, if you're familiar with the chart, they were mostly in the column A2. So that column would include, and now as I'm reading these words, they're big words. And so, and anything can cause anything, but so it was feelings of anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, worry. So all of those kind of combine together to cause you this discomfort. So I'm also going to try to refresh my page here. Sometimes the Facebook comments can just pop up and sometimes you have to go looking for them. So hopefully everything is going really well for you, Erica. And so give me a little comment and let me know. And so then I know Amber was talking about during this demonstration, we can do some things that I wanted to say are kind of quick and easy. And so we can go into one little aspect of a pain. Sometimes it's more like dealing with an octopus, that there's some different tentacles that go different places. And so for both Amber and I, we do offer a consultation if you are interested in learning a little bit more or sharing a little bit about what it is that you want to work on. And so you'd be able to access that consultation either from our websites or from our Facebook pages. And then we also offer some different packages in terms of working with us by time or through a certain package programming. So for example, Amber was mentioning her abundance program. And so it's a sequential series that she works on when she does that kind of program. Then I additionally offer, as she mentioned, the weight loss and additionally a stop smoking. And those, for both of those programs, they are designed with using the emotion code for some specific targets for you, but also going a little bit deeper with some of your self-talk. And so I've partnered with a hypnotist who has provided some audios so that you can listen repeatedly to the audios that are helping either create a virtual gastric band on your stomach so that you can believe that you can exist just fine with fewer calories and eat a little bit more consciously and slowly. And then for the stop smoking, again, that the hypnotism combined with the emotion code is really powerful. And believe it or not, I used to smoke many, many moons ago. I have to consciously remind myself that I did, but it was one of those things, as soon as I would say, okay, I'm going to stop smoking, I would get immediately angry. And then I'd go smoke like 3 cigarettes. And so I wound up myself quitting smoking through hypnotism. And that was, well, that was back in the 1980s. So it worked beautifully. And so now that there's the 2-for-1 punch of the hypnotism program combined with the emotion code, it's super powerful. So you can find information on my website about that. And then additionally, Amber has a lot of information on hers. Just before you start in there, Amber, I am still waiting for a comment from Erica, and we might hear from her today, or we might hear from her again next week. So,
Louise, I have released that whatever I could, again, realigned the body, and then went in deeper into right at the base of your skull to see what emotions can come out. And again, we use the chart. You know, we go in and we say, okay, subconscious, what is the reasoning behind this pain at the base of the skull? And it will actually, you know, we go A or B, and it will take us down to exactly what emotion has caused it. And you have to think, these are emotions, these are balls of energy the size of an orange to the size of a cantaloupe, and they're flowing. So if you could imagine this ball of energy sitting at the base of your neck, what kind of complications or issues that may arise as it's sitting right back there, right? It'll start pushing into things and shifting things. So go in and again, usually we don't do them on the lives, but when I work with clients, we can pull up, you know, oh, you felt grief at 15. Well, what happened at 15? You know, and we don't need to know. That's the benefit of working with an emotion code practitioner, is that we don't need to know. I don't need to know that, you know, something that happened. So I'll take my story, for example. I was domestically in a domestic violence relationship. I don't need to know when I'm working where somebody else is working on me. I don't need to tell them that, you know, this particular event caused my hip pain. Mm-hmm. They don't need to know. So we can go in and clear whatever emotions came out of that event. You know, whether it affected my hip or not, we can go in and go, okay, well, let's clear. All you have to do is think about it. A lot of the times you don't even need to do that. You're just like, there's an event that is causing me trauma and pain from my past. Can we clear the emotions from it? Great. All I do is connect to your subconscious and say, okay, so she's thinking about this emotion, or thinking about this event, or is there an event from her past that we can go in and clear whatever emotions we can? And it's done in layers. And the purpose of it is that you think of an event, right? If you went to a grocery store 800 times, and one of those times, you know, you tripped and fell and broke your arm, you're going to remember that one time. Why? Because the emotions are anchoring that into your memory. And so by releasing those anchors, it can go back so that it can be one of the other 799 times that you don't remember the times that you go to the grocery store, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's those anchors that we want to identify and release so that you can move forward, so that you can turn your body and start going forward instead of focusing on the back.
Yes. And I think One of the amazing things about our subconscious mind is it's like the master hard drive of our brain's computer. And so whether we are consciously aware of something or not, our subconscious is continually recording every single thing. And one of the things about our subconscious is that it doesn't actually determine if this is a real physical event or if it is just something that we thought about or imagined. So although some people can have these very traumatic real life events, there are other people that maybe just read a really scary book or saw something on TV that triggered a fear, and it could have been when they were 3 years old and they were just too young to process what was actually happening. And so by being able to key into the emotion code, it's able to identify that event and release it without, again, having to relive the event if it was a real thing, or if, there's so many things that happen in our lives that we just can't consciously remember all of them. And so, so that's where the beauty of the emotion code comes in, is that it's just able to zero in on that. So it's wonderful. I heard back from Erica. So she's saying, thank you, Holly. She was waking up today and the neck thing was really bothering her. And she said it has certainly loosened up. It's not as tight as it was earlier. So that's great. I see, Amber, that we are down to the end of our time. So we're going to invite everybody, come back with us next week. We love having you here. Amber's probably going to tell you a little bit about the live show that she does midweek. And then, of course, you can find more information from both of us. We'd love to hear from you and work with you through a demonstration or through a much more deeper dive that we could do if we work one-on-one. So thank you.
Yes, I'm going live on Wednesdays at 7. This week is super exciting because I'm going to actually break out the body code. I have yet to break out the body code when doing my live sessions, but I think it's time to break out the body code. So if you are interested in how the body code works, I highly welcome you and invite you to come watch 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, to come, bring whatever issue is ailing you, and let's see if we can't go deeper. And you can see exactly how amazing both of these modalities are super, super incredible to watch and to experience and to live through. And I love doing it. I love showing up and helping everyone and working with Holly on Mondays. It's just the highlight of my week. So I invite you to come watch then. If not, we will see you again next Monday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 11 o'clock Central Time. I always forget, Holly.
I know. Yeah, that's, one of the things living in the Midwest, people always give the Eastern time and they'll give the Pacific time, they'll give Australia time, they'll give London time, and everybody forgets about the Midwest. And so I'm constantly trying to calculate, now do I add, do I subtract? Mountain time's another one that's really tricky. So show up.
Exactly. We look forward to seeing you guys, and thank you so much for being here. We will see you next time.
All right. Thanks. And goodbye, Joshua. Goodbye, Charlie. We'll see you next week.